Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to do something a little different. Since it's September 28th and they are currently about to announce the banned and restricted announcement, we're going to dive into Standard. I'm so excited to be able to dive into Standard. So real quick though, I know they just dropped the announcement, so let's go take a look. Let's go see how healthy Standard is going to be and how exciting it's going to be. Hop right back into it. So let's pull it up here. All right, so 28th, banned stricter announcement, Standard, Uro, okay. Titan of Nature's Wrath is banned, effective September 28th. We knew that was gonna happen. Let's go see what else they ban. Wait. Hold on. I don't see any other cards here. Hello? Wizards. What's going on here? Yeah. So, all right. So apparently, it looks like only Uro was banned. Let's read a little bit about it. So we've been keeping a close eye on Zendikar Rising, and I'm just gonna summarize this. With millions of games having already been played, early data shows that multicolor ramp decks featuring Uro, Lotus Cobra, and Omnath are a problem. Okay, I get that. So the cards that we told you were going to be a problem before you even dropped the set were a problem. Okay. While Uro is powerful, in pre-rotation, we wanted to allow the metagame to adapt. Okay, I can understand that. Before making a decision. Okay, so the best deck right now, and as we all saw, was the 4-color Omnath deck, or is what we call it in our my Discord, the Omnarth. So what was it, like 14 out of 16 decks in the top were 4-color Omnath, and the takeaway was that Uro was the only problem there. But it's really weird to think about it because Uro has been a problem ever since it'd been printed. And this is a card that we were very vocal about, and not myself or people in my Discord or people that watch my channel, but we as a whole, as in all of the gaming community. It's a very, very unbalanced card. It was a mistake to be made. At one point, if you really think about it, all these cards that have been banned, Wizards had planned to have legal at the same time. So it really takes months and months and months to actually ban a card, and just one tournament with a showing like this, 14 of the top 16 decks. I think that is not correct. And so the problem is not just Uro, but it's also Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra is really enabling Omnath more so than Uro does. Now, these 4-color decks were ramping into Omnath, so they could potentially ramp into Genesis Ultimatum and just go crazy. And then what happens is, once Omnath triggers that first time for the turn, it's really not going to trigger again unless obviously you play another Omnath. But the two main cards, or the main 3 cards that were the problem, obviously Uro, Lotus Cobra, and Omnath. But what we're not really thinking about is it's really hard for Wizards to ban a card that has not really even been out yet. Because I know while we've had access to Zendikar Rising for the past couple weeks on Arena, Paper Magic has just got access to it. This is a product that has just been released basically this last week, just a few days now, and it's really hard for them to come in and ban something because these 2 cards specifically, Lotus Cobra and Omnath, are actually helping them sell product. Now, what I think is going to happen is Omnath and Lotus Cobra are probably going to get banned because, like I said, right now it's helping them sell products. So maybe in a few weeks after the product, the sales start dwindling, and once everybody's already gotten their cards, I feel like Wizards is still going to have to ban these cards because, again, these decks are still going to be able to turn 4 Genesis Ultimatum into more Omnaths and more Lotus Cobras, and more land drops, and Uro at that point is still the deck. Yes, it may be a little less consistent. It's still going to be just a ridiculous deck. It's going to be really oppressive. It's not going to be fun when you have 4 or 5 permanents on your side of the board on turn 4, and your opponent has half of their deck on the board, and then the other almost half of their deck is in their hand. So again, this is really hard to understand why they're not banning this, because we're still going to see 4-color Omnath decks. What else we're going to see is we are going to see not really much of a shift, because and I know this is me just rambling off the, I didn't write anything. I just wanted to get my first reaction here. And cards that I feel like should be in banned in standard, and I know a lot of people may not agree with this, but cards that I feel like should not be in standard, that are not healthy for the game. Obviously Uro, but we've fixed that problem. Lotus Cobra is not healthy. Omnath is not healthy for the game. Clover is not healthy for the game either. Winota is not healthy for the game. And I don't think Embercleave is healthy for the game. And I also don't think currently Questing Beast is healthy, and as well as Ugin. So that's 9 cards that I feel like I hit on there. Those cards I feel like need to not be in standard. But the problem that you have in standard is the way that they've been creeping up the power level of the cards. They're really focusing those I feel like the power level and just like 1 or 2 pieces of the the color pie. So you have your blue and your green, obviously, and then you have a little bit in red. But the problem is if you ban Uro, Lotus Cobra, and Omnath, then the meta is just going to shift to where everybody is going to be playing, Winota or Gruul or Clover or mono green or red. But some might say that's healthy to have 5 different decks in the format, but it really isn't, because out of those decks, like with the Gruul and the mono red, they're both going to be sharing a card, and I in the form of Embercleave. Gruul and green is going to be sharing Questing Beast, could also be sharing Clover at some point, some form or fashion as well. But Wizards has to be careful with how they ban, and I completely understand them not banning all of these cards or a ton of cards, but they have to do it. Like, at this point in the game, with how unhappy everybody is in the scene, like, I wouldn't necessarily say the competitive scene, but at least the constructed scene, because again, you have Arena, you have so much ability to do so much testing and extrapolating data, and to try out new things, and it's not being taken advantage of. I think Wizards is really dropping the ball. So you have let's hit on just ripping the Band-Aid. What happens if you rip the Band-Aid? People get upset for a little while, but then that's going to allow everybody to really start rebuilding. And that will allow, I think, for a healthier overall instead of just a short term. Because I feel like what Wizards is doing is, instead of ripping the Band-Aid off, they're just putting another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid, not actually fixing anything. So what can be done right now? I don't really know if something can be done other than just going in and doing a mass ban. It's going to upset a lot of people, but at the same time, there's just no other answer. And again, completely unpopular opinion, but it needs to be done. What else could potentially be done here? Well, one thing I've been a huge proponent on is, I think Wizards could potentially go in here and do a rotational banning. They've even done that in some of their events, where they say, okay, well, Here's X standard event. These cards are not legal. We're going to try out a format where, you know, these 10 or 15 cards are not legal. Let's try that out. Well, let's do that right now. Let's put a standard event on here without a bunch of these cards that are super powerful, and let's see what the meta turns into. But let's not make it a crazy, you know, win a 30 pack award where you only lose once. Let's make it just an actual event where I can pay, you know, like with the standard events where you can pay 500 gold and go for 7 wins or 3 losses. And let's see what that meta turns into. And let's make it a new meta, you know, or a whole new queue where people can't join in with the cards, you know, because like some people will go in there and build a deck knowing that a card's about to be banned, and they'll come back 3 months later to play it. So let's not do that. Let's just make a new event where we can play with like 15 cards that are, or not, I'm not saying 15, but maybe 10 to 15 cards that are currently not banned, and let's see what the format turns into. Another thing I think they should try doing is I think they should occasionally be coming in here, and with the rotational bans, I think they should also be coming in and trying to unban some cards. Not saying they should necessarily unban Oko or, you know, Field of the Dead or whatever other cards are banned, Agent of Treachery, stuff like that. But they could try that in the same fashion. They could come in here and have an event and say, okay, well, we're trying out, you know, we'll just call it on flavor with Zendikar, we'll call it modular standard. And okay, now these cards are legal again. Let's see if the format turns back into, you know, Oko Simic craziness, because we're going to allow Oko in, but we're going to take out all these other Simic cards that kind of enable Oko. And then on top of that, I think, and I've been for this for as long as I can remember, and I want you guys to realize where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place where I've actually been playing Magic since Alpha. I've been playing Magic since 1993, and that's for longer than some of you have even been alive. Back in the day, and you can see, yeah, and I just said back in the day, but a long time ago, and they even do this in Vintage right now. They have card restrictions where you can only play one of. Well, you know what? How about instead of banning a card, how about we try restricting it? You know, that way you still actually get to highlight your product. You get to highlight the fact that we have these Uros in play. We have these, you know, we have these Omnaths. We have these Lotus Cobras. I don't really think Lotus Cobra is a good example in this sense, but maybe we look at a mythic, an overall mythic rarity where cards that are mythic, and that might not be the best thing either. But I think we should look at, and again, this is super easy to try because we have a digital platform right in front of us. This thing right here, this game right here is digital, and it could be easily modified. A lot easier than trying to organize a huge paper tournament somewhere. But we have something that makes this type of testing readily accessible and allows you to actually get the information that might help improve your format and your game overall. So let's try unbanning some cards. Let's try banning more cards more regularly, and let's maybe try restricting cards to one of instead of just removing them from the format, because overall it's a win-win, again, because Wizards still gets to sell their product. They don't necessarily have to fight the backlash that they get from, you know, from completely removing a card from a format. And at the same time, we still get to play those cards that we love. You know, I'm not trying to turn standard or historic into some crazy singleton format, but I do think it's worth at least exploring some of these options. And if they don't, then, and if they're not even willing to come in here and just throw around some of the ideas, then I mean, are they do they really care more about the health of the longevity of the game, or is it all just a money grab? And I'm not saying that that the company should not be concerned about making money, because again, in the long run, they are a company and they deserve to make money for a product they put out. But it can't just be about the money 100% at the end of it. It really needs to there really needs to be a balance, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50, but you do have to care about the longevity of it. As if the game does just mutate into a dumpster fire, and I'm not saying that it's there right now, but if it continues to go this way and we're just banning more and more and more and more and more cards, then it's very possible that the game won't have much more longevity. So, um, and that's really my 2 cents on it. Um, you know, I feel like again the ball is being dropped on multiple levels because the amount of power level they're trying to increase the cards. I think their checks and balances are just not lining up. But I'm not a part of that. I'm not asking to be a part of that by any means. I'm just asking for there to be more testing, more accountability for some of these things. And I think with those things in place, we can actually improve the game overall. And I think the best place for that to happen, honestly, is right here in front of us on Arena, because Arena, again, it gives them countless ways to test out new things. And if that's the case, if you don't want to test out new formats, let us come in here and make rules for games and for formats to try out. Not just Don't just limit it to and I know we could do that on our own, by just doing an open play with friends, but how about a way that we can track that? Let me come in here and similar to how Overwatch allows us to make custom games. Let me come in here and make some game rules. Let me program in some game rules and say, okay, X cards are banned, X cards are restricted. That way, you actually have some data that you can come back in and extrapolate from, and actually take back and learn from that as well. And then maybe I can share those game modes, and we can get these game modes out easier to other people. And again, I just want this just as much as everybody else. But overall, this stemmed from, this whole video and this video idea stemmed from the fact that all we saw today, when so many of us were calling for so many changes to be made, all we saw was this. Why is it just Uro, and why is it not Lotus Cobra? Why is it not Clover? Why is it not Omnath? Why is it not Ugin? And it even says, it says down here at the bottom, I'd like to emphasize that this banned and restricted change, our focus was primarily on standard and historic, with an eye on the upcoming 2020 season grand finals. So the thing is, if your focus was on not just standard and historic, why does this just say standard? Uro's just as bad in historic. And again, in an ideal world, in an ideal world, we need to see about 7 to 10 cards at the least banned in standard. And I think at the end of the day as well, if we were to touch on historic, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I think easily there are 25 plus cards that need to be banned from historic. I think historic is starting to get pushed into a realm that standard has started to turn into, and I think there's just not enough. Again, there's not enough ways for us to come in here and test different formats to help Wizards, because at the end of the day, we play this game because we love Wizards of the Coast and we love this game that they put out, and we all want the same thing. We want this game to be around for as long as possible, forever and ever and ever, for all of us to play until the end of time. And in order for us to do that, and to be able to do that, we should want to help Wizards. And All we're doing right now at this point, Wizards of the Coast, is please ask. We're asking you for you to help us at the same time help you by allowing us to do testing and to make suggestions. So if someone out there is you know, knows somebody at Wizards, please know that I love your game. I don't want to continue to see it turn into what it's turning into. And I think the more you go this route, I think you're just going to make more and more people angry. I just think, like I said, help us give you more information by allowing us more customization in Arena, and letting us, share these tournaments. Man, if I could make a custom tournament, I would be holding a tournament every day through my Discord. With certain formats, so you could track it. So, all right. Well, I've said my two piece, and again, banning just Uro was a huge mistake. Especially when people have been calling a ban on Uro for months, and you just basically let it roll out for a whole set, and then ban it right when the next set comes out. I think that was just a little I don't even know a nice way to put that. So, but yeah. So let me know what you think about this. Your opinions on the standard bannings, the lack of standard bannings, the lack of historic bannings. What you think will happen next? Do you think there will be a second wave of bannings in the next few weeks? Just let me know down in the comments below. Again, if you like the channel, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, hit the bell icon. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Come join the Discord. We've had so many people join in the last few days. We still have a giveaway since we hit 5,000. So go back a couple of videos to our Ozelich video and check out that giveaway. It is still open. I'm gonna be announcing the winner on Wednesday's video. So make sure you are a part of that. So again, thank you so much. I want everybody to stay safe. We will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.